Monday. Happy Monday morning. Welcome to the start of another week. Happy Monday. Welcome to the start of another week. It's Supercharged Manifesting Monday. I'm really intrigued and a little bit excited about the conversation this morning. We're talking about self-abandonment and the role that plays in manifesting. As always, I have a story because life gives me content, as you all know. So I'm really excited to hear how this resonates with you, this conversation this morning. I know that so many times people are looking to manifest things, and it can tend to feel like I'm doing all the right things and it just doesn't seem like I'm getting anywhere, or I'm doing all the right things and manifesting feels hard, or the law of attraction feels really hard and I just can't figure out what is it that I'm doing. What am I missing? And this conversation is one of those things that I became aware of a few years ago and then again last week. So, in my own life, as well as someone that I love dearly reaching out to me and asking for some support, and I was like, here's that self abandonment thing again. So, I'm really excited for you to think about this. It's a very reflective conversation. And I just want to put it in your, like in your thoughts, in your awareness, have you reflect a little bit about it for the rest of the day and kind of see how you can take some different actions in your life. Because whenever it is that you are not manifesting, or let me take that back, we're always manifesting, period, end of story. So sometimes it's either you in your manifesting, you see evidence of you getting the things that you want, and other times it's like, where's my stuff? What's happening? It feels like I'm off. And even when it seems like you're not manifesting, you really are manifesting the reflection of what's going on within you. So we always want to turn inwards when we know that we have work to do, when we know we have, when we see that, wait a minute, the mirror of my life it's not giving me evidence of what I want. And that simply means, all right, something's going on in here. So let me just look at within so that I can change the outside. All right. Good morning, everyone. I love seeing all the highs and the waves and all that good stuff. Mwah. Good morning to you. So this is a conversation that I've had before. I can't remember the last time that I had it, but it's just something that's on my heart. And so I know that it's meant to serve all of us. I know it served me this week. And so I know it's meant to serve all of us. Here's how I became aware of this idea of self-abandonment. A few years ago, back when I was single, can't believe I'm saying that, back when I was single and doing the dating thing, I happened to attract into my life this man that I was becoming increasingly frustrated that he was just all about his business, and like was okay for dating and having a good time and even getting his emotions involved, but he was very clear, like, my business is my priority right now. And I remember getting upset about that. Like, I would never have said it to him, but I was just like, you're so selfish. You're so this, you're so that, like all the you. And of course, my emotions got involved. So there I was just, doing all the things that we do as women, pining and longing and all the stuff, but with a lot of resentment around it towards him, because he was, on one hand, I could tell that he had similar emotions, but he just knew where the line was. And as the other person in that situationship, you know how that feels. And so I was increasingly frustrated towards him. And I was blessed to have a mentor at the time who kind of turned the mirror back to me and shined the light on me. And she said, how is this action that's making you so frustrated a mirror to you? And I'm never going to forget, this was the first time I ever heard this concept. She said, where are you self-abandoning things that are important to you, and then getting upset with him because he's honoring the things that are important to him? And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Because sure enough, so that, what I realized, this was probably about start of the year, actually, like midway through the year. And I remember I had these massive dreams and goals and intentions for my life and my business that year. And I had become consumed by this whole relationship and this man and dating and the whole nine yards. Like everything else just took a back burner. All the big things that I wanted for myself was way far back, not even in a back burner, like off the stove entirely. And I had to sit and look at that. What was triggering me and getting me so upset towards this man was the fact that he was very clear about where his intentions and what his focus was. And he would come out to the playground and play, but he was crystal clear when it meant time to get back to what he was focused on for himself and his life. He was very clear in what he was doing, and he stood for it. And I'm going to always be grateful to him for bringing me into that experience so that I could start to see the ways that I self-abandoned, not only my business goals, and the title of this morning is Self-Abandonment, Money and Business. But what I want you to hear is how you do one thing is how you do everything. So even though, yes, I want us, because we're always focusing on where am I abandoning the goals, the desires, the intentions that I set for myself in my money and with my business this year. Where have I abandoned them? I've just kind of gotten lackluster. I've got distracted. I put my attention someplace else. I've given up. I've just walked away from the things that I said were important to me. So that's a conversation that I want to have. And like I said, it really is just a reflection morning. And I was thinking about how can you tell what are some of the signs that you have self-abandoned yourself in some area of your life? Number one, you start getting angry at people in your life for no reason. And you are especially angry when you see them not taking movement on their goals and their dreams, right? So, perfect example. My son is a junior in high school and he needs to get ready for college. And so ever since he entered high school, my daughter, who went ahead of him, like mastered the whole college application thing. Like she literally just left a roadmap for him to follow. Do you think he will follow it? No. So as a mom, I'm constantly on him. Like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to make sure you get leadership positions, you need to volunteer, you need to get a job, you need to do all these things because this is part of how you make yourself like a good candidate with your college application. And I've been telling him this since he was in the first year of high school. He's now in the third year. And I recently said, so how are you doing with all these things, right? And he was like, yeah, no, didn't do this, didn't do that, didn't do that. And I got so angry. I got so angry at him. I'm like, I have told you this for 3 years. 2.5 years, I've told you what to do. You asked me to give you the space to be a leader in your life, and here are the results. And so I got really angry at him. And then I step back for a moment because I know this and I go, okay, Tasha, why is this triggering you so much? Where have you not been in the leadership role in your own life? Where have you known what you needed to do and you haven't done it, even though you've known it for a long time? You've known exactly what you needed to do, but you haven't done it. Because I promise you, every time someone else is triggering you, it's really your lesson. It's for you to reflect. It's simply a mirror of what's going on within you. So I share that story with you to say, look at, especially when you see yourself, and usually it's someone very close to you, right? It's your spouse, it's your partner, it's your kids, it's your friend. You're like, gosh, they're just not going anywhere. They never do the things they say they're going to do. Like, I'm always having to help them out and they never seem to be progressing. It's like they're just a dead end street and you're doing this all the time. I promise you, you have your own stuff that you are not doing, that you are not taking action on. And so really sit back and go, okay, where have I been doing that in my own life? And how does this impact manifesting? Well, you know what? I always say attraction requires action. We can write our intentions, we can do all the things, but part of the manifesting and the law of attraction formula, even though it's a tiny piece, it's the smallest piece, but that word action is at the end of attraction. And so if you have these big intentions and these big desires and these big goals, but you abandon them, well, I mean, why should the universe come up and just and serve you something that you have literally just said doesn't really matter to me, doesn't really matter to me, I'm not taking action on it, right? So that's just something for us to reflect and look at. And then the other thing is, whenever you find yourself feeling unsettled, unfulfilled, and just like a sense of resentment in your life, you have any of those energies in your field, you find yourself just feeling like lackluster, bored, unfulfilled, unsettled, and especially, this is another thing, resentment not only towards yourself, but as you see other people doing their thing, and you just, you don't, you probably wouldn't even call it jealousy, you're just like, you roll your eyes, or you have that emotion inside, whatever you name it, you know what it is. That is a textbook classic sign to you that you are having those emotions within yourself because you are not honoring the emotions that you have for you, right? So self abandoning your own goals and your own dreams. I want you to have a look at that. And here's what I want us to use this morning to do and our time together. I want us, like I said, this is a real one of those real conversations. Sometimes it's light and fluffy. Sometimes it's like, here you go. Yeah, somebody said, ouch. Someone said, ouch. Yeah, and Heather, thank you. I see Heather here saying, brilliant to focus on this, as we'll likely be avoiding standing for ourselves because of some of our patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. And shout out to Heather Garbett, who is here, who is the mentor that brought this to my attention and called me out on my own self-abandoning at that time in my life, right? So I want you all to, yeah, food for thought, Beverly says. It's serious food for thought. So someone I love dearly sent me a message this week, and was just asking for my advice on this person in their life that they were observing, were always making excuses, never moving forward with their dreams, always putting it off for another time. And I said to this beautiful person, I want you to type that message back to me, and every place that you put he or him, I want you to put I or me. I want you to type it back. Everything that you just complained about, I want you to type it back and replace it with I or me. And I want you to read it out loud, because that is the universe giving you an opportunity to hear you speak about yourself. And I know that it was jarring and really, and she was very honest in telling me that it was, but I shared that with her because I myself, every time something starts coming up into my awareness where a bunch of people are asking me the same thing, I pause and I realize this is happening for me too. So here is what happened for me. As you know, I got married this year and I was super focused on looking amazing for my wedding, as we all would, right? So I did all the things leading up to the wedding, looked as amazing as I wanted, went on honeymoon, and just like walked all away from that whole desire that I had for myself to stay fit and to work out and to honor my body and to take care of myself and to eat well and to rest, and all the things that I had said were, important to me, and I was doing it for the wedding. What I realized was that's really important to me. And then I just let it go. Like, I came back and I just excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse, and I let it all go. And as I got back to it last week, it was this powerful message of whenever I'm out of alignment with me, whenever I'm not honoring me, I don't feel good. Things are harder. It's like, I'm not in that. I know when I'm aligned, I know when I'm firing on all cylinders, and things might be moving along, but it's not the same way as when I'm honoring myself, when I'm standing for what's important to me. And so it was just such a powerful reminder that, yeah, Tasha, you kind of self-abandoned this part. And what was interesting about that was I had made it about the wedding. And that was like the motivation, the inspiration, like, you got to do this, right? Because it's for the wedding. And even that, I stepped back and I was like, the wedding, forget that. Like, this is important to me. It feels good to me. My time to commune with God is when I'm awake at sunrise running. That is when I get all my downloads. That's when it's like crystal clear instructions. Tasha, do this next. It's such a powerful thing for me. And to abandon that and really abandon myself and my own desires was, I literally, in 1 week, I literally saw how once I stepped back into, I'm going to honor this thing that I said was important to me. I cannot tell you all the downloads I got last week, the amazing way that I felt. Everything inside me was cohesive again. And so I just want you, as I'm sharing my own story, to start to think about some of the areas in your life that you might be abandoning, because it's not just about, it's not just what and even though the title of this is self-abandonment, money and business, I want you to know that when I abandoned my health, I was not firing on all cylinders in my money or my business. When I abandoned my spirituality and the things that I said I was going to do in my spirituality, I wasn't firing on all cylinders. Like, stuff was just happening in my money stuff that I was like, what is this? This is not me. This is strange. But I know, well, where's your spiritual practice around this? How have you been doing in that area? How you do one thing is how you do anything. And I want everyone to type this. When I honor me, when I honor me, I become a magnet to my desires. When I honor me, when I stand for the things that are important to me, I become a magnet to my desires. And so the invitation is to not look outwards and be resentful of anybody else or angry at anybody else, but to really look at yourself and go, what are the things that were important to me, and am I honoring and standing for them? All right. There we go. When I honor me, I become a magnet to myself. Everyone type, when I honor me, I become a magnet to my desires. When I honor me, I become a magnet to my desires, because honoring you says I'm important. I'm standing for the fact that the things that are important to me, I stand for them. I take action on them. And so now you literally are, you magnetize to you the things that you desire. It's like the universe goes, okay, well, if you really believe it, if you really believe it's important and you are taking action, here you go. And it's just like overflow, right? Okay. So where have you made promises to yourself for this year? Where have you made promises to yourself that, if you're just being honest with yourself, you've self-abandoned, you've walked away from them? I want you to look at standing for yourself in any area of your life, in a relationship, in your business, wherever it might be, standing for yourself. Have you done that? Is there an area where you said you were going to do that and you haven't done it, right? You walked away from doing, could be a job, could be in a relationship, could be, I don't know where. Have you stood for yourself the way you said you would this year? I want you to look at your health routines. What did you say you were going to do for yourself this year, and have you continued to do it? You said this was important, whatever it was in the area of health that you said was important to you. Have you continued to keep your commitment to you around it? I want you to look at your self-love practice. Believe it or not, self-love, it's such an important part of manifesting. And it goes back to, if I am not demonstrating that I am worthy and I'm deserving of loving myself, then I can't energetically call in things that are a match for me saying I deserve it. Deservingness is the highest form of self-love. So how have you been doing with your self-love practice? I know that when I'm not like firing on all cylinders with my manifesting, it's because I've just depleted myself to the point where I'm not honoring me. I'm not giving back to me the things that I need. And I just know, I've learned I can't go like try to figure out why is my manifesting not working when I'm not doing the things for myself that show that I deserve the things I want to manifest, right? So where are you with your self-love practice? Where are you with taking action on your dreams? This is your money and your business. You said you were going to do all these things this year. Where are you with it? Are you still, in alignment? Can you look at yourself before you go to bed tonight and say, you know what? Yeah, I've been keeping my word to myself. I said these things were important. I said this dream was important to me. I said this financial thing was important to me. And it's not about did I manifest it? It's have I honored? Have I kept it my focus? Remember that guy, like he would be out to play, but he was all about those business goals that he had for himself. And he was very clear that was priority. And I'm not saying, so using that example, I'm not saying, oh, you know what, we don't fulfill our relationships and our health and our all this so we can achieve our money and our business goals. I'm saying I'm not abandoning any of my dreams one for the other. Like we get to do them all, but I'm not going to go get distracted by something and then just abandon the thing that I said was important, especially if I said it was important to me, right? So here we go. Dahlia, I love you. Dahlia, you're so cute. Dahlia says, dude, she looks like she's crying or she's in awe. I'm not sure. Okay. What else do I have? How have you been doing with your intuition? A sweet lady in my life, one of the things that is very clear to both of us in my mentorship to her is that this year has been about her honoring her intuition. And she it's just really clear. It's like the universe has served up a lot of like slaps in the face opportunities so that she can get back to getting out of people pleasing and get back into honoring her intuition and taking action on her intuition. And so I just want to put that out there and ask, how are you doing with that? How are you doing with your intuition? And Dahlia says, I'm basically breaking my promise to myself when I lost focus or self-abandon an area that is important to me. Yeah. And Astoria says, I have self-abandoned in many areas of my life. I have not kept my word to me. It's really powerful. This conversation is really powerful. And I think the reason that it has come up so powerfully for me to share with you all is that not only was I seeing it in the conversations that I was having last week, but I saw it for myself. And I really, once I learned one lesson, I don't like having to learn it over and over again. I don't like it. Like, I just want to say, time out. All right, God, universe, source, I got the lesson. I got it. I'm very clear. Do not self-abandon, right? And I think when you think about the tragedy of self-abandonment, you really have no one else to blame. And that is probably the hardest pill to swallow, is you can't turn anywhere and be upset at anyone or anything. It's you. You walked out on you. You walked out on what was important to you. And so I just want to inspire you for the rest of this week to just take some time and reflect on this conversation and make a new commitment. I don't want you to go try to do them all, but just look at, of all the things that I mentioned, or maybe I didn't even mention it, but you know what it is. It's something that I didn't even mention that you had said was important to you, that you lost focus on, or you got distracted, or you replaced it with something else, or you're just not giving it your attention. And just recommit. Just recommit. You owe it to yourself to do this for you. All right. Mwah. I love you all. Go have an amazing rest of the week. Stand for yourself. Honor your dreams. Honor your desires because you deserve all of it. You deserve it. And it's just a matter of showing that you deserve it. You're capable of greatness when you take the actions for the things that are important to you. Mwah. Bye, everyone.